Welcome back, everybody, to the Challenge podcast. We are talking about episode 8, I believe, of season 36. How did everybody enjoy this week's episode?
Maybe one of the most comical episodes of the season so far. Like one-liners, the faces, the confessionals, everything about it was hilarious, including the ending.
Oh my god. I agree.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Hit the nail on the head.
I don't even know where to start this week. I guess I want to start kind of with Kyle. I think I want to start with Kyle since I've shit on Kyle at the beginning, but he's quickly became someone I respect this season, unlike last season.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
But he still wants Fessy and Anissa out. That was his plan going into this week. How did you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? Fessy's probably one of the guys that he couldn't beat in a physical elimination. So if they happen to make two skulls go against each other, that's probably not somebody you want to go against, especially if you're Kyle.
Agreed.
Yeah, man, sorry.
I agree with that, but I feel like when you start making decisions that are based on your personal vendettas and not by strategic play in the game is when you find yourself in trouble. So you can be pissed at them and not like them, but do you need to use this opportunity to get them back?
I mean, that's always been Kyle's gameplay, is just play on emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah, for all the respect and props and love I have for Kyle, I couldn't agree more. This was an emotional decision. He's basing it completely on they lied to me. But I mean, a lot of people have lied to you, Kyle. They're just the two who, everybody lies to everybody. They're just the two who got blatantly busted doing it. So no, I don't like the move for Kyle, but I mean, everybody said it best. He's just rocking on that emotion.
Something else that was interesting before the challenge was we finally got to see a bit of an edit for Amber B, who's trying to play between two alliances. Meg, do you think she could pull off an Elizabeth or Alex from your season of Survival?
No, I don't. And does she even know what show she's on? This is not Big Brother. This is the challenge.
I feel like it's safer on the challenge than it is on Big Brother.
I don't think that she had to backstab her friend. There were enough people in the house where Amber M would have still been the nomination to the crater without her having to go against her. And considering that the two power players here were not in the Big Brother alliance, nobody even had to know any of that.
Yeah, what this was a perfect opportunity to burn vote. Maybe she doesn't realize she can burn a vote.
Well, kind of you can't burn a vote because people can see that you're not burning the vote, or that you are burning the vote.
They can't see who you're burning the vote on. They can just see you didn't vote for the team that nominated. I don't know, man. I don't like her chances, though. I mean, she's got a really good partner, so who knows? But I think she'll find herself down in the crater in the next, two girls eliminations for sure.
Oh, Kyle is going to light that entire situation up. There's no way he keeps that to himself. He's going to fuel a fire with it.
The only last note I have before the challenge is, before all of her frustration, is Lolo finally realizing she might not get thrown into an elimination, but I guess we'll just get into the challenge first. We'll start with, what were your overall thoughts on the challenge before I kind of want to go heat by heat?
One of my favorite type of challenges, a banger for a daily in the mud. Takes me back to, I think it was a couple seasons ago where they had to fight for the ball in the muddy water. This one was a little bit different because you couldn't see what you were going after, so it added a extra bit of strategy to it. But overall, I liked it. I love bangers.
I like the competitions that have different like rounds to them, so it's not just a one and done.
Yeah, me too.
I wasn't a fan of the final part of this one because I think it. I mean, you could tell that was exactly why CT did what he did at the end. They were never, ever, ever winning that.
It was kind of the only fair way to get a winner, though.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but it's just it was never going to end well for big CT ever, because Kyle. At least if CT and Kyle would have gone at it constantly, like 100%, CT wins the majority of those.
I'm not convinced.
But I think Kyle will eventually beat CT before Big T would ever beat Cam. That's a certainty.
I like that they added extra rounds and didn't just go based on time, like the quickest one out. I think using the time differentials is kind of a cop out, or even like if there's puzzles involved, them timing out and getting DQ'd from it, just let it go and see how it plays out, you know?
I thought CT was great in this challenge with the way he was moving it with his foot at first, and then his like "gotcha, bitches" as he's running out. That for me was the highlight.
Well, Leroy even was like at his feet, like feeling around. Like, what
I
is
know. I
he
was
doing?
surprised he pulled that off.
My big question going into the challenge, knowing that the relic was going to be in the water, was who was going to collude and team up in this challenge to get somebody else a win. I think we actually kind of saw some of that with Leroy and CT.
Josh,
Josh and Fetchy tried, but failed badly, of course. But in the first heat, it was Anissa and Lolo in the heat, and we had the whole choking incident or whatever that was. What were your thoughts on that overall situation?
There's no need to even comment on this. Darrell said it the best. Welcome to the challenge. This isn't
It's
the
like
Olympics.
the only thing he said all season. I forgot he was doing that.
I know, right?
I mean, it was a cheap shot, but it wasn't that bad of one. Like, it wasn't anything like Fessy was doing to Nelson in that hall brawl. Like, so I mean, these things are physical. Like, they're physical. If you don't expect somebody to put their hands around your neck at some point, you're out of your mind. It'd be one thing if it was like eye gouging or fish hooking or, you know, even a more modified
It
sleeper
wasn't
hold.
even a choke. She had like her arm like around her neck to pull her off, but was she in a position where she couldn't breathe and her airway was being like restricted? No.
There was no like extra force being put on that chokehold
Yeah.
at all. It wasn't a chokehold.
I don't even know if I would go as far as to say it was like a cheap shot. I think Anissa tried to have a plan of action and it just wasn't, it didn't work out for her, but
it wasn't as bad
Lolo was just ready to snap, and that was the one thing.
Lolo's
It wasn't as bad as my first thought when I saw the challenge, which was, oh shit, somebody's fixing to drown in this.
True.
So
All
nobody.
these challenges always look deadly.
She didn't push her under the water, so let's give her some credit there.
And Teresa's complete lack of a poker face, which they called out too.
Oh my god, what a creepy smile she had.
I can't find it.
And Nani was terrible too. She was the most
Oh,
obvious.
that was great. That was just a high tone shriek. Gave it away right away. And she's definitely not strong enough to take on, 4 or 5 people at once.
I feel like she gave up a pretty good fight though in the beginning.
And I liked what we saw from Nam here, even though he lost that heads up to CT. The cunning he showed in the first part. He was the first one to utilize the "I have it, but I'm going to act like I don't." I like seeing that from him. It shows, he's playing with a little bit up here, which I definitely like to see from him.
Which, I mean, outsmarting Fessy and Josh isn't the biggest thing.
I will point out, though, in that first heat, and I guess in the second girls' heat too, that both Cam and Gabby were sort of in the right place at the right time. Like, got the relic as it was being tossed away or stripped out. I think that would have been my strategy. Like, I'm probably the size of Devin. I would have stood back and let them go at it and waited for that thing to fly out of there, grabbed it and ran.
Yeah, I
What
would have had to try
about-
and pull a Nom.
Lolo's face when Nam won. Like you still, I mean, it was like no emotion, no happiness, no
They're
congratulations.
a rough team.
Like, come on.
Sorry to interrupt with an ad for our online competition game, Online Isolation 2, which is currently airing on YouTube. If you are listening to this podcast and not watching on YouTube, you can find Online Isolation by searching it on YouTube or searching for online competition games. Here is a short little ad for our upcoming episode this Tuesday, the 9th.
From this point out, like, it's about to get interesting. So you heard it from me first.
Manu was just really like, well, I don't want to vote off people I already know.
Oh, you're going alliances now, man? That's too early in the game for that.
So I have some questions for you guys.
What?
What's up?
I honestly, at first, I thought she was in there to just gather information.
Hannah, that's a threat. Even though I do want to get to know her, that is a threat.
He could have been a smooth sailor until he said that, and that is where he messed up.
2 players from Season 1 will invade Season 2.
Season 2.
I'm just going to go for the goal, for the winning.
Any other thoughts on this challenge overall? We talked about the ending with CT and Kyle a bit, but I mean, Gabby had no chance against Cam.
No.
I don't think many of the girls would have had a chance against Cam, quite frankly.
Maybe Casey.
Yeah, that's probably the only one.
Maybe Casey. Anissa might have put up a good fight.
Maybe.
Other than
And then
those,
for
I
the
don't think any of them would have had a chance. But yeah, I agree with those two assessments completely.
Well, in the end, it is Cam and Kyle getting the win. Are they the strongest team right now?
yeah.
Leroy and Casey are close.
I don't maybe not necessarily physically, although they are pretty good physically. I think strategically, they're politicking really well, playing so many sides of the house. Regardless of strength, I think that's their strong point, and they're using it really well.
They're certainly the most well-rounded team, for
Yeah.
sure.
I think it kind of goes back to the beginning where with Cam and Leroy wanting to separate themselves and getting themselves into as many alliances as possible. So I think, Casey and Leroy are kind of tied into Kyle and Cam in that manner too. But the whole way they've gone about this season is brilliant, I think.
I think if Casey had a skull, Casey and Leroy would be closer to being as strong. But the fact that Cam and Kyle both have skulls,
Yep.
It's about to get hairy on the guys' side, though. Because you look at some of the guys who don't have skulls, and it's some of the heaviest hitters. You could tell that their little strategy to possibly keep some of the strongest people from ever even having a chance to get a skull is working. Because you got Darrell, you got CT, and you got Corey sitting on the sidelines. And they're eyeing Devin and our newest skull holder. Not going to spoil that, but they're eyeing those two pretty hard.
what's the point of having the skulls though if you have the opportunity to steal them? Like, I feel like if there's 5, once those 5 are gone, those are the 5 going to the final, and the others get sent home.
Yeah, but what happens next week? They can't put 2 people, like the next guy's elimination. They can't have 2 guys without a skull in the crater.
Why?
Can they not?
There's no skull to win.
So one goes home and one stays without a skull.
Y'all think that's how it goes? That'd be interesting.
I mean, there's strategy to it.
Yeah, I was with you, Fangai, when I watched it last night with my husband, and he said the same thing, or I was saying the same thing. You can't put 2 in that don't have a skull. And he's like, one goes home, one stays. And there's, like Dave said, there's a strategy to it, because then you eliminate one person that could potentially be coming after your skull, but you still, everybody still has theirs, and there's no stealing.
I do think we're jumping the gun on that a little bit. And I know we didn't do our ups and downs, but if going forward, those that are down are definitely Josh and Devin, because they're going to be used to get people like Corey and others their skull. They're just going to keep throwing them down there. If they go home, nobody cares.
Josh
that,
100% went down for me this week because he has a skull. And we're
Yeah.
in the time where they're gonna steal. And if you're gonna steal a skull from somebody, who are you gonna steal it from? Josh. It's his first elimination challenge and he sucked at it. The only reason he won is because Michi's never done a slide puzzle ever in his
He
life.
sucked more is the reason why Josh won.
See, looking back now, it makes me rethink the strategy of when do you want to go down to get the skull. Like for Devin, it makes me wonder if he shouldn't have waited until all the skulls were gotten, because now he's going to be thrown down in there.
I mean, he didn't have a chance.
Well, that's true. But if you're like a super strong physical person, getting your skull early is okay. But if you're going to have a hard time winning it in the first place, you might as well wait a little bit so that you're not the person that gets thrown down in there just so somebody stronger can get their skull.
Yeah, but they already said, a few of the people said they're going out of their way to keep CT and probably Darrell. They're going to do everything they can from even have them going down there. So
I mean,
he does it. The only way he's going to get his opportunity is if he is a double agent and has to throw himself in. And he went down for me too this week because I don't see him becoming a double agent with Big T.
Well, they have.
I mean, he's going to have to win it. He's going to have to win a daily that is like an eating challenge. He's probably, the odds-on favorite to win an eating challenge, or maybe even a trivia. Like that's how he's going to win a daily to get himself thrown down there. But other than that, it's going to be hard to get him in there.
I guess that trivia is their best bet. It's something I feel like Big T could be successful at.
he needs someone to steal him from Big T. He needs one of his friends that are girls to take him from Big T so that he has a chance.
Yeah.
But who?
It seems
Maybe Nani once Josh is gone.
I bet Nani goes before Josh.
Yeah, I don't think Nani's actually a very notch up from Big T, in my opinion.
Lolo, he could team up with Lolo if he knows they would be a really strong team together. She does not like working with Nam. They would easily or have a much better chance at winning double agents if they were together.
Yeah, I could see CT checking her real quick.
They both know they're in the same position in the game, so.
True.
I feel like the girls and guys, though, are in completely different boats just because of all the injuries and the amount of skulls.
Yeah.
I think it changes the dynamic on the girls and guys side completely. Like y'all said, they might throw two people who don't have skulls. What if they throw Josh against Devin? Like, what if they put two people with skulls? Does that free up a skull if one of them goes?
That's what I think.
It puts it back on the board for somebody to get.
It opens it back up.
But then what happens if the last challenge of the year and they decide to do that? Then they go to the final one short. So there's some.
It's all very convoluted.
Yeah, there's some production dynamics that we need MTV to hit us up with this podcast and let us know what the deal is.
Well, unless they're French, I don't know if they're going to, but we'll see.
Let's not shame them too much, because this is an improvement on the skulls from last year, at least.
No, I agree. There's moments to have it go awry.
Have you guys been operating under the assumption that they've known the whole time that they would be able to steal from each other? Or do you think, because I was reading some blogs today and they all seem to think that, like I was thinking it should go, is once the 5 are taken, they're taken, and you don't get any more. There's only 5.
I'm surprised they thought that way.
Because I was too, but that's why, I wrote down in my notes, like, do Amber M and Michi even know the point of the game? Like, why are you fighting so hard to stay out of the crater? Don't you understand that that's where you have to go in order to get yourself to the final? Like, you're so adamant about not going, but it has to be because they knew that you could steal later and Michi wasn't ready to do that.
I disagree. I think it's because they know they can't win the final and they're looking for airtime. I'm going to go back to that.
Or win an elimination.
At this point of the show, GTFO.
Touche.
Michi is only here to steer fans towards his OnlyFans.
He's just trying to hook up with the girls in the house, too. Like, that's all that dude was here for. Of course, he doesn't want to go in. That's why he's like, I don't want to go in. Of course, you don't want to go in. You can't beat anybody. You couldn't beat Josh, who can't throw a ball 4 feet.
Well, let's Oh, we'll get there, but that puzzle isn't as easy as it looks.
Slide puzzles can be hard. You can mess yourself up pretty quickly on them, but if Josh can figure it out.
I mean, I wrote that down to look up the strategy for slider puzzles, and I completely forgot to research.
I've
that
always
today.
sucked at them, so
I mean, I'm not good at slider puzzle, and I feel like in the heat of the moment, when you have a lot of pressure on you, and I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't have been expecting to go down, but if he was caught off guard and didn't think that he was going down, then you have even more pressure. Everybody's watching you. You've never been on the show before. You've never been in elimination before. You've barely done anything this entire time you've been here anyway. So I can see how like it got to him and you know it's not working, but I just feel like it doesn't matter. Michi would have sucked at that puzzle anyway.
I don't think slide puzzles are hard. I guess I'm the only one, but I do think they're exponentially harder if you're in a panic mode. It's one of those things where slow is like smooth is fast and fast is slow. It's one of those things where you just have to look at your moves. And I agree. I think he was just too much in the moment, too much going on. Because the concept, if you go slow with slide puzzles, is they're not hard. They're really not if you just take your time. But in that in that environment, it's tough to take your time.
Mm-hmm.
back to Kyle and Cam though. As much as I think they are the strongest team right now, do you think there's going to be a problem since they're they're on opposite sides socially?
What do you?
Like it started a little in this episode, even though Kyle went along with it in the end. But like Cam is loyal to a lot of people that Kyle isn't.
I think Kyle's gonna do whatever he needs to do to get himself further in
To
the
the
game.
final.
And if that means following Cam and her decisions, I think that's what he'll do.
I mean, the moves that he made this episode weren't terrible. I did question throwing Josh down there. I wrote down that I thought maybe they should have put in Amber and Darrell. And when I did some reading today, it seems like there actually was a plan to let Darrell go down there and get his skull. But once he saw the challenge, he decided not to do it. I don't know what he's waiting on. So I did question that a bit. But I mean,
Why
the
would Darrell
decisions-
choose not to do this challenge against Michi?
because Darrell likes he wants a banger challenge, a pole wrestle or something like that, or a boxing match.
I don't know why they'd want Darrell to get his skull, quite frankly. The dude's
True.
never lost a final. You're mental for giving him an easy skull, in my opinion. Like,
I mean, he's teamed up with Cam and Leroy. We haven't seen a lot of it, and there's kind of, I think there's an imbalance because Amber is with kind of the Big Brother crew, and he's not. He's with Cam and Leroy. So I think the idea in his head might have been, if he can get a skull, he can also, pick a new partner and no longer have to have that deal with Amber being with the Big Brother crew.
Who do you think he would choose? Looking at my list.
Oof. I
And
don't even know who's left anymore.
Getting tough on the
Yeah.
girl side.
Yeah.
Going back to your initial statement, I don't think Cam and Kyle are in trouble at all. I think because there's two guys that have skulls that are clearly weaker than Kyle. So I don't think Kyle is going to be on anyone's radar in the near future. And Cam is the strongest girl with a skull as well. So I don't think anybody's going to be jumping down there to go against her. If those two get thrown in, it's going to be a move from the double agents to say, let's get rid of a strong player.
I don't think anybody has the numbers to really fuck with Cam or Kyle at this point.
No, it'd have
I mean,
to be a
there's
double
some-
agent. That's what I mean. It would have to be
Yeah.
like one of the Big Brother double agents just going, fuck y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they put them in there and they're gonna come back. Like you said, nobody's taking that skull from Cam. Out of the girls that are left, no way.
Only Casey. And then that would have to be another dynamic where there would have to be some shenanigans going on with the double agents going, nope. And then having
And
the
even
other one
still,
go
that'd be a
out.
toss up. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I honestly can't see Casey beating her in most competitions. I mean, it depends on what it is, I guess, but
I think Casey could beat Cam in more of the endurance based stuff. Anything where size and strength is a factor, I mean, she'll be the underdog. But I think she even has a chance in those because I think, like I said, Casey plays football. She's not a not strong girl. But I actually think Casey has more endurance than Cam. I could be wrong about that because I do think that
Oh.
But I feel like most of the eliminations are mostly physical rather than.
you put Casey in and Cam in the competition where they have the truck full of balls and they got to throw them out one at a time. Casey beats Cam at that. The one that Tori lost to Jenna, I guess, maybe last season.
Yeah. I mean,
Casey's
shit, we
gonna beat
gotta.
Cam at that Casey, I think, will beat any of the girls at that.
We have a female hall brawl coming up, so I wouldn't mind seeing those two go at it.
I would not want to see Casey in a hall brawl.
She can probably truck somebody.
No, like I wouldn't want to see her in. Like,
Oh,
I would
yeah.
not want to go against her in a brawl.
I don't think Cam would want to go against Casey in a whole brawl, and Cam's the biggest girl there.
Well, I guess we covered most things. I guess we could talk a little bit about Big CT if you wish, about their troubles. Any other thoughts on them?
He did kind of when was it? Before he went down to round 3, he kind of caught himself as he was kind of trashing Big T a little bit, saying that there's no way that she was going to beat Cam, and he caught himself and worked his way out of it. I really think, I mean, he's got to get off of her team, or he's never going to get a shot to get his skull.
I will say though, she helped his social game this season. I mean, Wes leaving helped too, but Big T helped a lot.
She knows that she can't beat Cam, and that I don't think that she took that personally or as an insult in the least.
Oh, I know. As she was walking off, she gave that little grin to the camera. But I think CT's trying not to bring her down, and you know, she's doing good things with him. She has ties to the itty bitty committee or whatever. And other than that, I mean, he's kind of on an island by himself. He was like Wes. I mean, nobody wants him to get his skull. So, I mean, she's kind of an end to the rest of the house for him.
I mean, she's a liability to him, plain and simple, in competitions. I actually think he did good. When you look at CT of yesteryear and how emotional he could be, I actually think, I mean, he let it show. Because he knew she couldn't win. She knew she couldn't win. There's going to be some frustration there, and it did show. But I actually think, all things considered, he didn't like get that upset about it. Like he gave up. He's like, I'm gonna let Kyle fucking win this because I ain't gonna wear myself out over it.
But like, what would the tiebreaker have been if CT beats Kyle and Cam beats Big T?
They
They
keep
keep
going.
going.
I know, but like, so why? I just kind of don't understand why CT
Because
just gave
Kyle's
up.
going to beat him eventually before Big T's ever gonna beat Cam.
I think for him, it's like, why am I going to exhaust myself and stand out here freezing my ass off in this pond when there's no chance that me and Big T walk away with a win, because there's no chance that she ever beats Cam. So he's just going to go round after round, gas himself out, and then Kyle's going to win anyway.
And then
So
what
why
if
go
he
through
lost
all
it and they're like, now's the night to take out CT because he just went 13 rounds with Kyle in the mud and he has got to be just beat.
And it might have been good strategy too for him, knowing that they weren't going to win. Instead of showing his strength and going round after round after round, let him take it, maybe look like he was easier to beat than everybody thought he was, and then maybe he gets a better shot at going down to the crater.
I'm convinced that they made a deal, and that was my first thought before they even got in there. I was like, this is never going to end. CT's got to make a deal with Kyle and be like, look, I'm going to let you have this. You've got to get me down there in the crater for a skull later. And I think maybe after a couple episodes, we'll see that conversation actually took place. So maybe that's how
I don't know
gets
about
down
with
there.
this editing, but we'll see.
Yeah, and I feel like if they had that conversation, then this would have been the perfect opportunity for him to hold up his end of the bargain and send CT down there against Michi and just let him take it.
I mean, Kyle's scrappy, right? Kyle is scrappy. But when you look at what CT did to Nam, heads up, that's how it would have looked against Kyle, I believe, if CT was trying. Because,
Yeah, I don't know if y'all noticed it, but there were some elbows in there from CT.
Oh, we know.
CT was way harder on Nam than he was on Kyle. You could tell. He let Kyle get the inside track. Like, he made it look good, But when you look at what CT did to Nam, who is so much larger than Kyle, and he just put him down, and then he looks at the camera and says, he ain't getting up. I'm just letting y'all know he ain't getting up. And he meant it. And so, no, I definitely think he could have done that to Kyle for a long while if he wanted to, before Kyle's scrappiness might have pulled something out.
Agreed.
Well, lastly was the elimination. Josh versus Michi. What a banger that was. Just kidding.
All right, Nick, you got to answer something for me. How on earth does someone go down into an elimination, win their gold skull, and still lose all street cred possible? Like, how does one even do that? Like, you're supposed to go down there to get your skull to earn your street cred. How does someone go down there, win, and still manage to completely lose all credibility?
Only
the fact
Josh.
that he was not knocking out the squares that could be broken, in addition to the way that he was throwing the ball, but he was hitting the wrong square, first of all. You did not make yourself look any better by winning against Michi, who didn't even make it past the puzzle. And then you just cry, oh, is this what an elim feels like? Oh, boo-hoo. Oh, is this what it feels like?
He is such a caricature.
And you look worse.
Mention the fact that okay, I 100% respect his parents that came over from Cuba with the American dream. Like, more power to you, get your shit, right? You already won $1 million on Big Brother, and you're sitting here giving the sob story about how your parents still don't have everything that they want. What the fuck more do you need? You won $1 million. What
They
did you
have
do
a
with
pretty
it?
successful business too.
What did you do with it? What else did
Throw
they?
that in there.
You already have $1 million. Well, maybe $750 after taxes, but
Just the whole thing was hilarious. You know the meme where the dude's biting on the metal and pouring champagne on himself, and then it pans back and he's at the bottom of the podium with everybody else lined up. That's what Josh looked like in this episode. I mean, props to him for winning, but he just made just a fool of himself as usual.
And you put a bigger target on your back because now you can steal skulls and you have one and you're the first person they're all going to come for. So congratulations on your first and only elim win.
Well, I thought before this took place that if he didn't win this elimination, that he should never come back to the challenge.
I already think that, but
Exactly. Thought that
Such a
3
joke.
seasons ago. Before
Oh, it's coming around. I'm finally starting to figure it out.
He's such a joke that he's almost production gold in a lot of ways. Because look at us harp on him. Everybody's harping on him like this. He goes down, wins an elimination, and still comes out looking worse than he did going in. Only he could do that. And there's something to be said for that. Like, there's something to be said on the production level of, wow, this guy's like the biggest fucking idiot ever.
Oh my God, what a joke. What a joke.
But unfortunately, it's getting
I want to
old.
compare him to
Unfortunately
someone
for
in
Josh.
isolation, but I'm not gonna do it. 'Cause
I mean,
it
it makes decent TV.
he's such a joke, it's good TV. He's such a fucking joke that it makes for good TV.
Was there anything that I didn't touch upon? The challenge took up a big part of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I guess I can touch on this a little bit, but I'm missing out on a lot of storylines. I feel like they've really focused on the competitions this season, and I'm just missing out on the juicy, drama and
Honestly,
frat
Big
house
Brother
mentality.
editing-esque, because they like to focus on their terrible competitions a lot.
This
Maybe it's
episode
just
especially, we didn't see a whole lot of conversations between people, and I feel like I'm missing storylines too. I'm not 100% sure like who's aligned with who, like you were saying with Darrell earlier. I mean,
We have no idea where he is in
I
the
have no
edits.
idea what you're doing.
I mean,
I've only heard you
we-
speak once, and that was episode 8.
We missed the entire threesome ordeal. Well, not a threesome, but the entanglement between Liv, Gabby, and Michi. Like, I didn't get any of that. I mean, I want some trashy TV along with it. I
I
want to
didn't
see
know
some
that
of this.
happened at all.
Yeah. So there was like, apparently it was major drama in the house because of it, and we didn't get to see any.
Why aren't we seeing it? They have all this time. I just don't understand.
I don't know. I don't know.
The way
It's
being edited,
frustrating.
It is frustrating. I mean, the way it's being edited, I can almost tell you who's going to win. Can almost tell you who's going to win simply by who production is giving the most little confessionals to. I'll call it right now. Cam's going to win the girls' side, and either Leroy, Kyle, or
Josh,
maybe CT wins the guys' side. And I think it's almost a foregone conclusion at this point, just from the way it's edited.
Would not be surprised if Devin could pull one out.
he's got a difficult road.
He does,
Difficult
but I
road.
almost feel like he has it in him. I think he's playing an amazing game so far. And the fact that the past couple of episodes, or maybe this past episode, he's kind of kept himself quiet outside of egging on Josh and Kyle. What was it, two or three episodes ago? He hasn't really been involved in any of the forefront of, I mean, that they show.
I think he
will
will need a new partner though than Gabby, if that's.
Oh, absolutely.
Individually, he could probably hang in a final with some of the heavy hitters, like realistically, because Devin's in good shape. His problem's gonna be getting there, man. Because once Josh is gone, his skull's next for whoever's gonna be going for it. So I think he has a harder road to get to the final than he does necessarily of actually winning a final if he got there.
I'm kind of rooting for him
I
though.
see Corey stealing a skull from Josh or Devin.
Corey's a sleeper too. Corey could
Yeah.
win the guy's side. He's been getting a lot of airtime. But really,
I think
the guys who have been getting production time, it's only been a handful, and girls even less. It's pretty much all Cam on the girls' side.
Yeah.
you know, Devin and Kyle have a decent friendship outside of this. So Devin's best bet may be tying a rope to Kyle and riding him all the way to the end. Just using him to keep him out of the eliminations. So it's definitely a hard road. I am kind of rooting for him, although he's a complete douchebag. But at this point, he has a major underdog story arc. So got to root for the underdog.
I agree that we're missing a ton of storyline. One of the blogs I was reading earlier said something like, oh, and like, here we go to another sober night in the club. Like, nobody's doing anything. Like, get crazy. Have sex with each other. Do some drama.
I think it's the age differences. Like, this is the largest gaps in age. Like, it's no longer 20-year-olds on a beach somewhere in Cabo where all they want to do is drink and sleep with each other. It's everybody's starting to get older. You don't have young CT that's riling everybody up. So maybe it's just a huge demographic change and why we're not seeing all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them aren't single. A lot of the people on there are married.
Oh yeah.
Have like committed relationships at home.
But obviously you have something
Committed.
going on. They had the Michi, Liv, and Gabby thing. So
Yeah.
I mean, why not throw some of that airtime in there?
I mean, we missed Fessy and Ashley. They didn't show that either.
Well, I don't want to see that.
I read about that. That one I didn't read about. But yeah, no,
I'm just
they have
saying,
opportunities,
it's
right.
MTV.
I mean,
Yeah, I know.
give us some of that. Give us some smut.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the ratings are up. They've been going up
Ah.
since the last few seasons. So,
They
maybe
were the
whatever
highest.
they're doing is working.
They were highest on Wednesday. Like they beat out everybody. So
I mean, it
Mate.
makes you wonder though, and it's almost like discouraging out of production on that end, because like if the reason that they're not showing all this juicy stuff is because those people aren't going to get to the final, then you're basically just telling us that those people aren't going to get to the final by
Sure.
not showing their storylines at all. Like, just like I get it. You have hero. Every season needs its heroes, but you also need to at least throw the public some things that dissuade them from knowing exactly how things are going to go. And then I think using some of that juicy stuff is the way to incorporate some of the lesser not as competitive personalities, especially
is
if they're
the
involved in
first-
love triangles and shit. Like, come on.
Right.
This is the first season where I feel like you could actually utilize Edgic to determine who the winner is going to be. And it's never been like that before. So I definitely think that they're catering to a different audience, which sucks because I watched this show on MTV because of all the, nasty shit that I want to relive for my 20s.
Robin Cass got booted from Big Brother casting for a reason and all that. It's like, I agree, man. It feels different. It just feels, and I love this season. Like, I love what's going on this season, but something with the editing,
It's lacking something for sure.
It could be because of the hard time they had with people like Dee and Rogan with the stuff that happened after the fact, where they had to start, not showing all this bad stuff that could be considered, bad in the public
That's true.
eyes.
But I feel like we're watching the same episode over and over again. When there is drama, it's the same people, it's the same argument in the same kitchen after the same drinks, and it's like it's the same thing over and over and over again. We're just watching the same episode with just different games.
I could have used a little bit more of that fight. Like, from what I hear, it was a lot worse than they showed on TV. So, give us more of that. Somebody punched somebody, I want to see it. I'm getting more information from podcasts and from Reddit than I am the actual show, and it makes me want to stop watching. I'm not going to stop watching, but something has definitely changed.
It's not Big Brother bad days, at least.
Well, maybe this next season of Big Brother will be better. Are you going to do Big Brother podcast?
I'll do it. I said I'd give it another chance.
He'll do it for 4 weeks until the big alliance starts steamrolling.
Any final thoughts or predictions?
I think Nani or Teresa will be the next one eliminated. That next challenge, although it's a trivia, it looks tough. It looks like there's strength involved on with it, which there typically is, but it looks like they're in plank positions trying to hold themselves up. I just feel like the editing is leading towards a Nani or Teresa elimination.
I agree.
Yeah, I see that too.
It's different than every other season because you look how far these rookie girls have made it without even getting thrown in or anything. And I think that just shows you the whole different mentality of even the players this season, because I find it crazy that little Gabby hasn't, she's the biggest layup of all, but that's who's Casey's got her eye on. That's who Teresa's got her eye on. That's who Nani's got her eye on. All those mid-tier girls, where Casey's kind of the top tier, but the rest of the mid-tier girls like Nani and Teresa, they want to get their freaking skull from little Gabby, or Amber B moved into that mid-tier for me because I'm seeing a little bit more from her. But the Amber M and Gabby, those are layups, and that those mid-tier girls, that's where they want to get their skulls. So it's all just going to come down to the political side this week, because we know it's a girls' elimination. We know Teresa's on thin ice. But what are you going to do? You can put Teresa in there against Gabby to take a shot at Teresa. If you want to take a shot at Teresa, the only person you're going to do it with is Casey or Cam. If you want to get it done,
or maybe Lolo.
Yeah, touche.
Lolo's got to be in a different headspace, though. She's not winning anything right now.
She does need to.
You say something negative to her right before the challenge and just get her riled up, and she will bomb.
True.
That elimination.
Anissa's just gotta be like, "Yo, Lola, remember that time I choked you in the middle?"
Or it'd be the same as telling Josh, "Big Brother sucks." Right before competition. It's just I'm surprised no one.
8 times 7, but girl, it's 8 times 9.
Surprised Devin wasn't screaming that during the Creator Challenge this week.
Well, then that's all I have for this week. Would you guys like to promote anything? Not that we get many downloads, but
go Chiefs. Fuck Tom Brady.
Touche.
You gotta start throwing in a like and subscribe there, Nick. Like and subscribe. Hit the
I'll pitch
button.
something.
I mean, I
Y'all
put
should
it in. I
watch-
put it in where texts, but you know.
Y'all should watch Online Isolation 2. It just started. There's a really cool cast, couple of strange ones, and it'll be very entertaining.
And I'm probably gonna start a subreddit, if that's okay with Nick, just to online isolation games, and start posting all the stuff on there. I feel like if I actually moderate a page or get one started, I will participate more in the actual challenge subreddits and Big Brother subreddits and be able to link people to it. So
Sounds good for me. I mean, I didn't have many luck with online survival. The people there were kind of haters, but you know, I tried. I'll see you all next week.